Hello, my friends. Welcome to Slow English Story. It is the spectacle of a lifetime. Millions of marigolds, endless rivers of gold, and a guest list that stretches to the horizon. To the outsider, an Indian wedding is a masterpiece of joy. But have you ever stopped to listen to the silence behind the noise? When the guests have left, the lights are dimmed, and the gold is tucked away, what remains? We often ask ourselves, why do we spend our life savings on 3 days of festivities? Why do we carry the weight of 1,000 expectations on our shoulders before the vows are even exchanged? Behind the vibrant saree and the intricate henna patterns lies a hidden architecture of pressure, the pressure of social currency, the weight of family projection, and the silent anxiety of being perfect. Tonight, we are going to peel back the layers of this magnificent tradition. We are not here to celebrate the spectacle. We are here to decode the hidden psychology of the Indian wedding. In many parts of the world, a wedding is a union between two people. But here, in the heart of India, it is something else entirely. It is a massive transaction. It is the ultimate social currency. Have you ever wondered why we invite 800 people? Half of them are neighbors we rarely speak to, and the other half are distant relatives whose names we barely remember. We call it tradition. But let's be honest, in the psychology of the big fat wedding, the guest list is not a record of love. It is a record of our influence. Every guest is an observer of the family's stature. The size of the venue, the extravagance of the buffet, the number of exotic cuisines on display, these are not for the couple. Let's look at the psychology behind this. It is a phenomenon known as status competition. In communities where social reputation is everything, a wedding is the single most expensive advertisement a family will ever run. We feel that if we scale back, if we keep it intimate, the neighbors will whisper. The society will judge. And for many, that fear of being perceived as falling behind is far more terrifying than the cost of the event itself. We have built an entire ecosystem around this. Wedding planners, decor designers, social media influencers, they all thrive on this need for a grand performance. The wedding has become a stage where we trade our life savings for a temporary feeling of validation. But who are we performing for? Are we building a foundation for the couple's future, or are we just funding a weekend of theatrical applause? In many cultures, gold is an investment. In India, it is a language. And in the context of an Indian wedding, that language screams louder than any vow. We need to talk about the golden burden. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about the silent scorecard that every guest at the wedding brings with them. From the moment the bride steps out, she is appraised, measured, and judged by the weight of the gold she carries. Why is this pressure so suffocating? Because in traditional Indian society, gold is the only asset that exclusively belongs to the woman. Historically, it was her stridhan, her personal wealth, her security, her literal insurance policy against misfortune. But look at how we have perverted this noble intention. Today, it is often a display of status, where the groom's family measures their worth by the amount of gold gifted by the bride's parents. Think about the psychological impact on the bride. She walks into a new home, not just with her personality or her dreams, but with a massive financial liability hanging around her neck. If she loses a piece, if she damages it, the panic isn't just about the money, it's the fear of being seen as careless with the family's honor. This is the hidden psychological trauma of the golden burden. And the parents? They begin saving for this golden display from the day their daughter is born. It is a lifetime of financial sacrifice compressed into 1 week of blinding, reflective metal. We tell ourselves this is love, but we must distinguish between love and the fear of social exclusion. When we prioritize the weight of gold over the mental peace of our children, have we lost the plot? When the jewelry becomes an armor of approval, the bride ceases to be a person. She becomes a display item. From the pre-wedding shoot to the final reception, every second is choreographed. And why? Because in the digital age, if it wasn't captured in high definition, did the marriage even happen? Step inside the dressing room for a moment. The layers of heavy embroidery are physically crushing. The makeup is thick enough to hide the exhaustion of someone who hasn't slept in 3 days. There is a specific term we use for this: saving face. Not just literally, but metaphorically. If the bride looks tired, the family is judged. If the groom seems distracted, the organization is questioned. It is a relentless performance where even a slight sign of human fatigue is treated like a directorial failure. We live in an era where perfection is not just requested, it is a mandatory requirement. We hire cinematographers to capture the perfect tear, the perfect look of adoration, the perfect dance move. When did we forget that a wedding is supposed to be about a human connection, not a social media campaign? This theater of perfection creates a dangerous divide. The couple is constantly performing for the hundreds of guests watching their every move. They are managing expectations, curating moments, and most importantly, suppressing their genuine feelings. Have you ever noticed how, amidst the most expensive celebrations, the couple looks the most detached? It is because they are too busy executing the script to actually be present in the moment. This pressure isn't just about the guests. It's about the legacy of the image. Thousands of photos will be posted, analyzed, and compared on Instagram, creating a toxic feedback loop of who had the better decor, who had the better designer sari. The spotlight is bright, but it leaves the couple in the shadows. When the performance ends, what is left of the couple who was too busy acting to actually meet? In the Indian context, a wedding is rarely just an event for the bride and groom. More often than not, it is the ultimate fulfillment of a parent's lifelong project. Imagine a child's birth. The moment a daughter is born, the societal clock starts ticking. For many families, especially in the middle-class fabric of India, the wedding budget is not an option. It is an inevitable destination. Why do we see parents taking loans that will take a decade to repay? Why do they liquidate assets, gold, and savings just for a 3-day celebration? It is not about vanity, at least not entirely. It is parental projection. Parents see their children's wedding as a mirror reflecting their own success, their status, and their sacrifice. This is where the emotional projection happens. Parents often project their own unfulfilled dreams, their social anxieties, and their fear of judgment onto the wedding stage. They want to give their children a perfect wedding because they believe that if the wedding is perfect, the marriage and the child's future will be shielded from pain. But at what cost? We see young couples beginning their life together burdened by the debt of their own celebration. We see parents who are physically exhausted, spiritually drained, and financially insecure, all because they wanted to buy an image of success. But let's talk about the person at the very center of this storm, the bride. In the quiet moments before the main rituals begin, if you look closely, you'll see it. The hidden tremor in her hands, For an Indian bride, the wedding day is not just about a change in marital status. It is a profound, often disorienting shift in identity. She is being asked to transition from being a daughter, defined by her parents' home, to becoming a bahu, a daughter-in-law, who must immediately adapt to the rhythm of a different family. Psychologists call this role strain. She enters a new environment where the expectations are not articulated but are deeply felt. There is an unspoken pressure to preserve the culture of the new household, to understand the hierarchies, and to balance her own identity against the heavy expectations of tradition. Think about the irony. She is surrounded by hundreds of people cheering for her. She is being celebrated as a queen for one day. And yet, studies show that many brides report feeling a profound sense of isolation during their own wedding. It is the loneliness of being observed, not supported. She is watching herself, managing her expressions, ensuring her sari is perfectly draped and her smile is adequately radiant. And then there is the lingering fear of the first morning. The fear of walking into a kitchen or a living room where she is an outsider, regardless of how welcoming the family might be. This is the silent anxiety that no jewelry can hide. It is the internal battle between the woman she has grown to be and the role society expects her to assume. She is a person carrying her own dreams, yet she is being folded into a new family structure like a complex origami. Then there is the financial hangover. Families often emerge from the big fat wedding not as they were before, but as debt-laden entities. In many households, the wedding is the largest expenditure a family will ever face. When the bills from the caterers, the venues, and the decorators finally pile up, the excitement vanishes, replaced by a cold, hard math. Many couples find themselves starting their new life together already at a financial disadvantage. The pressure to perform has compromised their ability to save, to travel, or even to start their own household with independence. The marriage is no longer just about two people learning to share a life. It becomes a project of debt management. We have walked a long road through the theater and the heavy expectations of the Indian wedding. But the story doesn't end in silence or sorrow. It ends in awakening. A new generation is rising in India. They are rewriting the script that their parents and grandparents handed down. They are not necessarily rejecting the tradition. They are reclaiming its spirit. We are witnessing a quiet shift. Couples are increasingly choosing intimate weddings, events where the focus returns to the people, not the spectacle. They are prioritizing travel, education, or simply starting their homes with peace of mind instead of pouring their dreams into an ephemeral party. Imagine a wedding where the bride and groom actually remember the taste of their own food, where they actually have time to hold their grandparents' hands, and where they don't start their marriage by counting the cost of their vows. It takes courage to stand up to the "what will they think" mentality. But the most beautiful weddings are not the ones that impress the crowd. They are the ones that resonate with the couple. When you choose meaningful rituals over massive production, you aren't losing culture. You are honoring the essence of it. If this journey through the heart of our traditions has touched you, or if you are planning a new way to celebrate your own story, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about how we can define our own version of joy. Thank you for listening to this series on Slow English Story. Stay curious, stay true to your own path, and see you in the next story.